This is Brother Ron, and welcome to We All Be News Radio and TV, the news-free Dixie for the 21st century. Greetings, family. This is Brother Ron on the scene with We All Be News that you can use. It's more than just education and entertainment. It's edutainment and infotainment. And I'm here at the scene at what's now known as Health Sciences Park. Used to be known as ForREst Park. Nathan Bedford Forrest, the guy who was the notorious slave trader, suspect war criminal, and first Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. This is his resting place for his mortal remains, him and his wife. But what is missing is the equestrian statue that's been in place, I believe, since 1905 on top of this monument. For the last 112 plus years, white folks have been coming to pay homage to Nathan Bedford Forrest. The Sunday before his birthday, he was born July 13th, 1821, but on an annual basis for the last 113 years, white folks from around the country and even around the world have paid homage to Nathan Bedford Forrest with reenactors, people on horseback, 21 gun salute, speaker, resolutions from elected officials, proclamations, stuff like that. They've been coming here. So in July 2018, it's going to be very interesting what happens, because this property was brought by a nonprofit headed by Van Turner, who is currently a Shelby County commissioner and lawyer. He was able to use the legal loopholes of the white inferiority system, because that's what it is white inferiority system, not the other one, to outsmart the white folks who created the game in the first place. So basically, he used white folks' rules and loopholes to outsmart the white people. They were able to buy the property from the city for $1,000. They removed the statue, the equestrian statue, which is estimated to be worth millions of dollars. It was created in Italy. The money was raised by the sons and daughters of the Confederacy to, get the statue created and to hoist it upon the monument pedestal above the remains of Nathan Bedford Forrest and his wife back in 1905. So that statue's in a special holding place, but people think this is a victory. If you go across the river, right across the lazy river, there's a place known as Forest City, Arkansas, that Nathan Bedford Forrest named after himself. He founded a city, named it after himself. That's the same place where they kept T.I. when he had those federal gun charges, I believe. I think he was staying in the state penitentiary or federal penitentiary over in Forest City, Arkansas. So he's got a city named after him that he founded that's overwhelmingly black. It's a majority black city. It's like Memphis is a majority black city where they had his statue here. See, Nathan Bedford Forrest used to be an alderman in Memphis back in the middle of the 19th century. And also he was a well-known Democrat. He was a Democrat and alderman. And I think he was a delegate for the Democratic Convention of 1868. As you all know, the person who took over for presidency of Lincoln was Andrew Johnson, a cat from Tennessee, a very racist Democrat. He was the president, and the Democratic Party also founded the Ku Klux Klan, and Nathan Bedford Forrest is the first Grand Wizard of the KKK, old KKK. So, and also people understand his legacy is very much a living one. We love our symbols as black people to remove statues and monuments, but at the same time, Nathan Bedford Forrest is one of the fathers of the private prison industry. You see on Adams Street, he used to have one of the largest slave markets in all of North America. And now Adams Street is juvenile court, which is one of the most corrupt juvenile courts in the country, according to Justice Department officials and other people in the know. So there's a Forrest County down in Mississippi. So, I mean, they remove a statue, but his legacy is very much alive. See, the thing about it is, Nathan Bedford Forrest, if he became the U.S. president, he would be just like Andrew Jackson in a lot of ways. The only problem with Nathan Bedford Forrest, the reason why they're taking pot shots at his legacy, because he has not been legitimized by the white inferiority system by becoming a president. Imagine if Nathan Bedford Forrest was a president of the United States. He would be no different to me, in my humble opinion, than that of Andrew Jackson, who has a lot of things named after him, by the way, and who was a permanent slave owner and a white inferiority person of the highest order, supreme racist. But one thing about Andrew Jackson that I like, he took on the banking system of America and of the world. He took on the banksters and won. They tried to kill him in the White House for it, but that's a different story. So I got another part of this story I want to share with you all that is not well known by the masses, especially people here. And by the way, one of Nathan Bedford Forrest's descendants is a black man named Douglas Turner Ward. His, I believe I want to say his great-great-great-grandmother was a concubine, a mistress, a sex slave of Nathan Bedford Forrest. She was also his cook. She ran away fearing for her life. She was pregnant with Nathan Bedford Forrest's daughter, and she ran away to Louisiana and had her daughter. So Douglas Turner Ward's great-great-great-grandmother was the mistress, like a Sally Hemings, for General Nathan Bedford Forrest, notorious slave trader, war criminal. Okay, he was the one that led the Fort Pillow Massacre, where almost nearly 300 black Union soldiers, U.S. colored troops, and also black women and children were massacred, along with some whites on the Union side, Tennessee lawyers. Were massacred by Nathan Bedford Forrest Confederate forces, about 2,500 men. And on Juneteenth of this year, 2018, the We All Be Group Incorporated will hold a historic marker unveiling at Memphis National Cemetery. That's Juneteenth of this year, June 19th, 2018. That's Tuesday, 10 a.m. Central. We'll be having an unveiling of the historic marker we was able to get secured that will honor the righteous ancestors, the victims of Nathan Bedford Forrest's Fort Pillow Massacre, who the majority of their remains are buried at Memphis National Cemetery. They've been there at Memphis National Cemetery since August of 1867. We all be for 3 straight years have honored these men, women, and children, the righteous ancestors. April 12th, rain or shine. We honor them with 21 gun salutes, riderless horse, color guard, all that stuff. Some of the best talent that Memphis got to offer. We made it into a new tradition where we honor the victims of Nathan Bedford Forrest on the anniversary of the Fort Pillow Massacre, which took place April 12, 1864. Also, April 12, 1861 marks the beginning of the American Civil War, which started at Fort Sumter, South Carolina. So, it's a lot of history, but let me move on to another part they won't tell you about. And family, this is another history they won't tell you about as it relates to Nathan Bedford Forrest and what was now known as Health Sciences Park, but was formerly known as Forest Park. This right across the street from formerly Forest Park, which is Health Sciences Park, is the Scottish Rite building. Freemason, Scottish Rite building. Why is this so important, you may ask? Well, this is why it's so important. A lot of people are not aware of this cat named AlBErt Pike. Who was AlBErt Pike? AlBErt Pike is the only Confederate general with a monument in Washington, D.C. As a matter of fact, his statue is right across from the District of Columbia Court of Appeals. Like on their side, they have a statue of Lincoln outside. But right across the street from Abraham Lincoln is the statue of AlBErt Pike. He is the only Confederate general with that type of honor in D.C. So why hasn't that statue been removed? Who was AlBErt Pike? Well, AlBErt Pike was a Scottish Rite 33rd degree Freemason, a High Mason, and also he is credited with being the founder of the Ku Klux Klan. I said it right. AlBErt Pike was the founder of the Ku Klux Klan. He was a Confederate general. He was a Brigadier general for the Cherokee Indians who fought for the Confederacy. Yes, the Cherokee Indians owned slaves and they fought for the Confederacy. They were considered one of the 5 civilized tribes. Last August, they were sued by the descendants of free people for reparations and for citizenship status. A judge ruled in the favor of the descendants of the free people, so the Cherokees had to pay reparations as well as give them citizenship status. Black people, pay attention. What did Brother Malcolm say? We did not land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. So AlBErt Pike was the Confederate general over the Cherokee Indians during the American Civil War for the Confederacy. He has a Masonic lodge named after him in Little Rock, Arkansas. This cat was not from down south. He was from upper south. AlBErt Pike was from Boston, Massachusetts. He was not from Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, or Virginia. This cat was from Boston, Massachusetts. He's from the Northeast. He was an interesting character. To me, AlBErt Pike was like a cross between Santa Claus and Paul Bunyan. He was larger than life, and he was, like I said, the founder of the Klan. And back in the 1860s, he was the leader of the Democratic Party in Memphis, in Shelby County. Like I said, the Ku Klux Klan was invented by the Democrats, and also he was friends with Nathan Bedford Forrest. Now, Nathan Bedford Forrest, from my understanding, was not a Mason. He was not a Mason. Let me repeat, he was not a Mason. He was not a Mason. He was an odd fellow, supposedly. And like I told somebody who was a supporter of his this past summer, he was indeed an odd fellow in my opinion. But think about it. So you got the founder of the KKK. You got the first Grand Wizard of the KKK. And both were living in Memphis, Tennessee at the same time. So they were more than friends, OKKK. OKKK. All right. So I just want people to know that, because that's not well known here in Memphis, because the media down here, for whatever reason, does not do a well job of informing the people. And I know when the statues came down in December, I had the pleasure of informing people about the significance of the ForREst Park, formerly ForREst Park, and the statue or monument to ForREst being located right across the street from the Scottish Rite building. So now you know. AlBErt Pike, founder of the Masons, founder of the Klan, was a Scottish Rite Freemason, third degree, who lived in Memphis, Tennessee, and was friends with Nathan Bedford Forrest. You see how it works? So I just did this video just to inform everybody, to tell them the truth about everything. You know, when you know more, you could do more, and you could be more. And so thank you so much for listening, family. If you like the words from Brother Herb, please spread the word. Please support the We All Be information movement. I need your support, whether you make a one-time payment in PayPal, join up the movement via Patreon, buy R2C2H2 art you can wear and read and I said wear and read and hang up. So all that, family, all that, okay, support the movement, support Brother Ron. When you support Brother Ron, you're supporting yourself. So in the words of Great Duke Ellington, we love you madly. We love you madly. Keep on producing and pushing.